Greetings once again from quarantine, everybody. Today on the Frontstretch-Wrap-Up, we got the man, the myth, the legend, the ginger himself, Andrew Kurland from Arizona State University. How's it hanging out there, Andrew?
It's not bad. It's beautiful out. It finally has cooled off to 100 degrees, and it feels like winter. It really does.
You got a cold front coming through, I hear.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Well, it may be hot in Arizona. I know it was also hot in Daytona, and the action was hot on track. Got that
Dang,
one.
what a transition. How about that?
I know, right? I'm a pro's pro, in case you missed it. But, man, I mean, we saw a great race at Daytona. Willie B wins, first career win for him. Jimmie, unfortunately, breaks the hearts of everybody across the world. He's out of the playoffs, but there's so mumuch to cover with this. Let's tackle this one first. Daytona Oval as the regular season finale, yay or nay? I say yay, yay, yay.
Yeah, A+. A+ for NASCAR. You know, it was one of those things where I had gone to the July Daytona race for a number of years before that, and I love that tradition where it's like 4th of July, under the lights at Daytona, kind of the start of the second half of the season with NBC. Just every single little mini tradition I love so much about it. But I think this is totally worth that sacrifice. This was probably, when we look at the schedule, NASCAR's greatest move in terms of what 2020 ended up looking like. Just with all the drama and the cut line being so close, with Daytona, the style of racing you look at with pack racing, man, Jimmie Johnson could be ahead 4 points, make one bad move, get caught in the outside lane. Next thing you know, he's minus 13. Yeah. And that was like that all night long. A+.
I agree. We were talking before. I mean, this may have been the best race of the season. It's probably this and Bristol earlier on in the year when the pandemic when we returned from the pandemic. But this was really, really good. And I was skeptical going in at first because I was like, super speedway at the end of the regular season. It's a little too unpredictable and luck-oriented for me. And then as soon as the build-up started for the race and the race itself started and we saw how crazy stage one was, I was like, nope, screw what I said. This is great. I'm ready for this every single year. So, man, it was great. But let's talk about Jimmie for a little bit. I mean, when I saw him get that damage, part of me was like, it's all right. They can repair it. He'll be fine. Yep. And maybe Willie B will get in a crash. And then that was just the stage of denial that I was in. But, man, it doesn't seem right that Jimmie, who's the GOAT, by the way, don't at me on that, will not make the playoffs in his final year. I mean, it's so sad. Like Hendrick, too. You got Willie B winning. He's in the playoffs. That's such a positive. Then you got Jimmie crashing and not making the playoffs. It's such a downer. But what do you take away more from this race? Is it Byron winning his first race, or is it Jimmie failing to make it?
You know, it's tough because those two storylines are so big and they're so on opposite spectrums.
Yeah.
I think, I'm trying to think, when we look back at this race 10 years from now, what are we going to remember the most? And I think William Byron's first career victory is going to stand out a lot, but I think the heartbreak of Jimmie Johnson just missing it and not being able to make it 2 years in a row with such promise, at least during the race. I mean, he finished 5th in both stages, did everything he needed. Then his 2020 luck hit him. And, you know, he posted after the race, let me go find it so I don't misquote it here.
I think he basically said, down but not out, 10 more trophies to chase, something like that.
It was on Instagram, actually, and he didn't post it on Twitter. I wish he did. It was 7 it is. I'm damn proud of that in this case. 7 it is. I'm damn proud of that, in case you were wondering. And that just hit it right there. To see Jimmie take that as the true champion he is was my biggest takeaway. And, man, what a heartbreak. What a heartbreak.
I know. I did see that Instagram post, too, and I was like, damn, that's such a flex. Like a subtle flex is like, yeah, you know what? I'll stick with 7, but that's fine with me. Is it fine with you? How many do you have if you're reading this random Instagram troll? But, yeah, I agree with you. That's like a good way to gauge races, too. Like, what are we going to remember in 5-10 years from now? Like, yeah, you'll anecdotally remember that it was Byron's first win, but I think historically you're going to remember that this was the race where Jimmie crashed out but ran really well, but unfortunately didn't advance. But the fact that this was at Daytona lent itself to a lot of craziness. We had 2 big ones, specifically because there was a lot of drivers that had to win to get in, namely Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Tyler Reddick, Eric Jones, Bubba Wallace, that were up front battling for the win. and some crazy moves as Ryan Newman was roasting the ever-living you-know-what out of Tyler Reddick, which I am here for. It was so funny. Those moves lent themselves to big crashes. So what did you think of Reddick's move trying to slide up in front of Kyle Busch, and then the move where Bubba was on the outside? I think Joey got into him maybe with Byron, and then that had more chaos that ensued. Were you surprised to see so many big ones, or not really, because that kind of comes with the territory?
Yeah, the biggest thing for me is I spent all race focusing on the bubble. And while I know there was a possibility of someone racing their way in, I never really thought about it. And then you see Reddick take the lead and, well, very briefly take the lead. It was a slide jump gone wrong. But you see Reddick try and power his way to the front. Bubba Wallace going 3 wide on the outside with, I think it was 3 laps to go. And that really crosses your mind. Oh, my God, these guys can go and race their way in and win it. And that was probably my favorite part about the race was you had people racing with 3 different objectives. You had 10 drivers locked into the playoffs, racing for a trophy and any additional playoff points to give them a cushion for these next 10 weeks. You had the points guys who were mainly trying to keep their points cushion alive, getting stage points, being up there when it mattered, then also trying to survive and go for the win. And then you had the guys who were just like, who cares about stages? We're winning the race. And to see all those 3 combined made for such an entertaining race as we talked about. But man, just the slight possibility when Bubba took the lead is like, what if he made the playoffs after this year? Unreal. I know. I wish we could have seen it play out and a wreck didn't happen, because that would have been a wild finish.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I like what you mentioned about there were 3 different agendas that were happening on Saturday night. There was people that were balls to the wall because they were locked in. There were people that were balls to the wall because they weren't and they had to win. And then there were people that were saying, let me just kind of take it easy, and now let me go balls to the wall. So that proved for a really entertaining show. I think they hit a home run, like you said. Daytona as the regular season finale. That better stay for the rest of time, as long as I'm concerned. Let's briefly look ahead to this weekend. Darlington Raceway, of course, kicking off the playoffs. Throwback weekend. I love seeing all those good-looking race cars on the racetrack. The playoff grid, it is set. 16 drivers. 4 will be eliminated in 3 weeks' time. You can't win it this weekend, but you sure could pretty much lose it. What do you think the driver strategy are going to be in terms of the guys that have a lot of playoff points, guys that don't have a lot of playoff points towards the bottom? And I'll put you on the spot. Who you got to win this weekend in Darlington? I have a feeling that it'll probably be the 4 or the 11, but take your pick.
Okay. Well, yeah, you kind of answered that for me. What I think is going to be really interesting about this race is, unlike previous years, we're going to Darlington for the 3rd time. Normally, this is right around the 1st time that we're going. And that's going to be really interesting to see how the notebook has built up. I asked that to William Byron this past week, and he said, like, there is really no question with what they're bringing to the track. It is pretty set in stone. So we're going to basically see who can analyze the notes the best from when we were there earlier in the year and carry it over to Darlington race number 3 this season. Who do I think can win it? I will have to agree with you. I think for this first round, it's all about what have you done for me lately. And it has been the 4 and the 11 show. I don't think that'll change very much. I will go with Denny Hamlin winning at Darlington just to shake it up. But shake it up from Kevin Harvick. I know, not a really big, bold statement there, but I'll go with Denny Hamlin, opens it up and wins this first race of the playoffs, making it into the next round and giving him more playoff points than he could have ever dreamed.
Well, man, you're really going out on a limb there, picking the 11 to win. I don't know what to say.
I know, bold statements here.
Yeah. Well, I do know one thing. We'll be following along all weekend long. Andrew, I'm sure that you will be able to brave the elements out in the cold front there in Arizona, and hopefully you'll stay inside to watch the race at Darlington. It'll probably be just as hot in Darlington as it is in Arizona, considering you guys are going to get snow maybe because of this cold front. Who knows? Yeah,
I know. 100 degrees. I was literally like, this is how Arizona goes. I was out yesterday. It was 95. I was wearing a sweatshirt and, like, not a drip of sweat. It's insane.
Lucky you. I'd be outside wearing a sweatshirt for 2 minutes and I'd be in a pool of my own sweat.
I know.
That's just how it works.
Melted on the sidewalk.
Well, listen, thanks for coming on. It was real fun. Where can people follow you and all your work on the social medias?
You can follow me on the social medias at Andrew Kurland TV on Twitter, at Andrew Kurland on Instagram, and just search my name on YouTube and something will come up.
He's a NASCAR reporter extraordinaire, and he loves himself some Portillos from Chicago. Thank you,
That's
Andrew.
right.
This has been fun, my friend.
Thanks, Davey. I appreciate it.